Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside the Kentucky Derby that happens tomorrow. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is the 1st of May, a Friday, 2026. And this right here, the thing that you're watching, here, let's get the snapping right. The thing that you're watching is called the New American Media. Let's try that again. The thing that you were watching is called the TNAM Daily Show. That's a little better. What does TNAM stand for? The New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. Ta-da! Ta-da! Here on the New American Media. On today's program, the canine dog detected that shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You saw blurry footage. Then you saw more refined footage. And then you saw the close-up footage. They had this guy in a room or in a stairwell. I'm not entirely sure what door he was in. They had him. And the guy with the dog, well, you'll see the video. Oh, we've got to revamp this Secret Service. You know, I used to pray. I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too. There we go. That's a little better. Is it a little better? I'm going to need to replace this chair, methinks. That was a Mitch Hedberg joke. I do drugs. I don't do drugs. Wait, what is it? I still do drugs. No, that's what it is. I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too. Anyway, go check out Mitch Hedberg's collection. Great comedian. This has got to be revamped. I used to pray for President Obama, despite all the reasons why I despised what he was doing to fundamentally transform this country, as we've discussed in the past. And I prayed that he would be safe. You know, I think a little bit of dear Lord Heavenly Father watch over President Trump and his team as they take on some really dark characters. Keep your angels close. In your name we pray. Amen. I used to pray for Barack Hussein Obama. And I didn't want to see anything bad happen to him. Defeat him politically. Change the system. Expose the horrible consequences of the things that he represents as a cultural Marxist, a globalist. I mean, whatever you want to define him as, I prayed for his safety. Ryan Ruth tried to take him out, President Trump, on the golf course. I mean, they barely saw the barrel sticking out of some bushes. Otherwise, it might have been game over for President Trump. You don't want to see America in a situation like that. You just don't. And we've got to revamp this Secret Service. Maybe doing a special show on the Secret Service coming up. So stay tuned. But we're going to show you that video. Oh, the dog had this guy. What was the operator doing? John Thune is blocking President Trump. The Congress is blocking his recess appointments. I don't understand why that's not getting more attention. That is insane that you would allow your own party to kneecap you and tie hands behind your back. And unless you got guilty parties, guilty complicit parties who don't want you having your full deck of cards in the game of Uno or poker, whatever. Because I think the goal in Uno is to get rid of all your cards. So mixing metaphors here. John Thune has not, John Thune, has not advanced the Save America Act. There's no more America if we allow the waste, fraud, abuse, the corruption, the theft, the graft, policies that don't require proving who you are. Everywhere you go, every concert you go to, you have to prove that you have a ticket. There's a ticket to vote. You don't get to vote if you don't belong. In HOA, you have to verify a signature a unit number, and it's cross-referenced among the owners list, and you don't get to vote if you're not an owner in the HOA. Don't get me started on HOAs. They do have their benefits, though. But ugh. You know, you live in a system like that, you definitely want to be a part of it so you can steer it from the inside so it doesn't steer off a cliff. That's what that Spencer Pratt is doing. His ad calling out the people running for LA mayor, they live in mansions. They don't care. This dude's walking around LA. It's just a dump, an absolute trash dump. And that happened in my nice neighborhood. The homeless problem got out of control. You want somebody in there that's going to clean up the tents. If there are drug addicted people, criminals, you arrest the criminals, you get the physically disabled and mentally disabled and the addicts into treatment facilities. Try to help these people. It's not helping by saying, hey, throw up some tents over there by the school, Nithya Raman. I don't see any difference if you put 500 feet between homeless people and the schools. What? You cannot allow people like this to govern your lives. Plato said indifference to public affairs is a sanction to being ruled by inferior men. And it's very true. None of us want to participate in this. And frankly, at some point, I would love to pass the torch. I can't see the things that I'm seeing without trying to help. I don't want the mechanisms of government weaponized against us. Is that so much to ask? Is that too much to ask? I don't think it is. And so as Americans, we have to put a little bit in. 15 years, the new American media has been putting in the time, trying to figure it out. And you got people like John Thune blocking this administration from trying to fix some of the problems that the deep state has created. So we're going to talk about, air quote, leader Thune. You're no leader. Definitely not a whip. And we're going to talk about all the stories in the news. So grab yourself a beverage, hit the thumbs up button, hit like, hit subscribe, share this show. There's a button on however you're watching it to share this show. Send it out on X, send it out on Facebook, send it on Messenger to a couple smart people that you know, family members, friends, neighbors. Grow the show, you know. That's what we need. My name's Brian the Bartender. This is my bar. We're going to talk about all of the things on the screens behind me. And without further delay, buckle up, buttercups. The TNAM Daily Show starts now.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Tell me, oh, Facebook is working now. All right, cool. Let me see if I write test. All right, yeah, it was not showing up as a, so green check marks means it goes through. I feel like I'm playing tic-tac-toe or PlayStation or, I don't know, Morse code or something, or hieroglyphics. On the streaming platform, a green check mark means it has gone through. So when I put test, it'll show green check marks next to DLive, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Rumble. And then for Facebook, I was getting a red X. Nope, did not go through. Right there, I got the blue circle. Oh, it's Lucky Charms. Green check marks. Blue circles. And red X's. Oh, stayed away from my Lucky Charms. Gotta work on my Irish accent. It probably morphs into Popeye, the Sailor Man. Just like my British accent. Oh, it's a great day out there, isn't it, governor? That usually morphs into crikey, and then I'm in Australia. I don't know. I digress, but good. We are streaming to Facebook. Everybody, please follow us in all of the places. And if you enjoy your time here, April is done. This is May, and your support is needed now more than ever. By the way, on today, where it looks like InfoWars is shut down. Okay. These are the places you can support the new American media if you want an alternative to the lying legacy media propaganda outlets that have been given preferential treatment to push their lies, their garbage, the propaganda. ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. They serve their purpose, I suppose. But if you're watching them for more than entertainment purposes, you're kind of missing the boat. So if you want independent media, independent journalism, if you want the old American media to be replaced, well, I certainly did when I started. What did I start? The new American media. Well, your support can be derived. Your support can be focused on and delivered to Patreon. We have the new American media page. It's a new month. Thank you to everybody who are reoccurring sponsors of the show on Patreon. You can also subscribe to the new American media on Rumble and YouTube. And you can drop me a tip. I'm your bartender. Rumble Rant Tips. You just click the button, toss something in, and I grab it and put it in the tip jar. And then the tip jar goes to pay the overhead. The software, the hardware, the electrical bill, all of the bills. There's a million bills. You know that. Every human knows there's a quadrillion bills out there. But also we have Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal if you want to toss something over that way. Thank you so much to everybody who has. And this is your reminder that your continued support is super appreciated. So let's say hi to the people. Yeah, still waiting on Kenneth. Kenneth did check in a couple days ago. I know the regulars were saying, where's Kenneth been? He's been busy. He's been moving. Hello, John. What's going on? Northern David. Trash Panda. All of these new American media posts in there. Good to see. Always good to see. Also, what's good to see is the new American media page on Instagram. We want you to follow us here. We are so close to being able to stream on Instagram. And every time, we will meet people in person, and they will click the thing and follow the show, and then the numbers go up and the numbers come back. I feel like we're being heavily censored on Instagram, which is why it's so important to support us on Patreon, Rumble, and X. All right, let's go to the stories here, starting with Instagram. Let's talk about what people are talking about. There we are. So this is your point of view. Fighting off government bioweapons so you can enjoy nature. Ticks are everywhere now. And there's reports that Pfizer is dropping a new Lyme vaccine next year. Oh, really? Let me ask Grok what Grok has to say about this claim that boxes of ticks are being found all over farms. I keep seeing this. Let's see what Grok has to say. Is this true? Grok was unable to play. Huh? What? Okay, so Grok's not working now. That was weird. I don't get messages like that. Grok was unable to reply. Huh. Okay, Grok is down. So I don't know what to tell you other than a lot of people are reporting this. And last season I found ticks. I've never had ticks. I lived in the woods. Something has changed. I can tell you from personal experience. Never dealt with ticks. Suddenly, last year, there were a couple of incidences. Like the waistband at the sock line. Be careful when you're outdoors. You get bit by one of these bioweapons. You might not be able to consume red meat anymore. I mean, it sure seems like, and we have videos of people talking about it, that this is a coordinated plan to make sure we don't eat meat. Oh, I'm sure they will. Whoever they are. But protect yourself out there. Spray yourself down with eucalyptus oil or whatever it is that you're using. And tell me your question of the day in the comments, QOTD. Tell me what you have done in your lifetime to prevent ticks from getting on you and your pets. And what new measures you may be taking to avoid ticks. Yeah, maybe some more pants when you're in heavy grass or the woods. Unfortunate. Maybe just a lot of paying attention, do a tick screening. Once you come back in, you take those things off. You don't carry them in with you. Change your clothes. This is not good. So, what is this? Mommy versus Pharma. I'm not following her. I don't know how reliable this stuff is. She says, while you were distracted by the Iran-Israel war, 450,000 Americans now have a meat allergy. And she says it's thanks to Bill Gates. She claims Americans now have alpha-gal syndrome. This has been reported widely due to Bill Gates-funded tick, which infect people with a meat allergy. The first American just died last week from this, she claims. That ain't good. Funding is going into researching how Lone Star tick can be engineered and utilized to induce a widespread meat allergy in order to reduce global meat consumption. The reason? A climate crisis. Guess who profits from selling fake meat and the cure to that? And she's selling something. Okay. Well, that's her claim. You tell me if you believe it. This is exactly what I've been seeing reported all over the place. But I wanted to start it off with looking at Grok, but Grok was not working. Let me try Grok one more time. I'm having glitches with Facebook, glitches with Grok. Ooh, that's a good phrase. Glitches with Grok. Is this true? Grok was unable to reply. Oh, no, okay. It thought about, are you okay? And it still says can't reply. All right, let's watch this video. You've watched the resolution look like a 1971 gas station video. Then it was cleaned up and sharpened, and it looked pretty clear of this potential assassin running past security pretty easily. And now this video comes out. Take a look. Where's the volume? This video shows
how a dog was able to spot the gunman moments before it all happened.
I mean, instantly. Who is this guy? What was the technique? What was alerted to? Why did he stop? Was he picking up on firearms? What did he ammo? Like, what are dogs trained to find? And they're having a conversation. What was said here? And that dog's back on him again. 3, 2 seconds later, the guy's like, oh, my cover's blown. I got to do it. And he makes a run for it. And he's just watching helpless, like, oh gosh. I mean, you could release the dog. 1, 2, 3. Dog's there. 2 to 3 seconds. The dog's right there. And right now, look at this. Oh my God, I didn't catch this. There are 2 security screening gates put up. And as this is happening, look at the image at the bottom, the bald guy. He takes it down. Are you kidding me? It's down on his knees, and he is looking up. It looks like he's looking right at the camera. But then he does legitimately seem surprised, and he reaches for his weapon instantly. Now, here's my question. Where is the other camera showing what happened? How was he stopped? If he what show me how he was stopped. Why are these guards not wearing body cameras? Isn't this standard everywhere now? So that we can have transparency, so that we can more clearly understand how these incidents happen, how they're resolved. And look at these women running away. This guy is crawling away. This woman runs away. Another woman runs away.
This video shows how a
1, 2, 3. Dog is there. I'll just mute it for the purpose of that music. They're talking. 2 seconds later, he's gone. As he walks in, that is instantly. And it looks like this guy's looking up at the camera. Not that it really makes a difference, but it is a bit of a distraction. And he is looking around him, the guy on the bottom. And he's looking up at the camera again. Why would you take something down and then look up? Be looking up. I can't claim this as evidence, but you got some splaining to do. All right, the new movie is coming out this summer. I don't know if you've seen the other ones. You saw Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Ilhan Omar is going to be starring in The Lord of the Rings, The 11 Towers. When she read off the teleprompter, World War 11 instead of World War II. Not the best and the brightest, I would say. That's hilarious, though. Okay, this is not the footage. Footage was released. Some woman came to, some activist was at Nick Fuentes' door on the heels of this happening. This was a year ago, maybe? A year and a half ago, December 18 of 2024. Man in a get on it's off the screen. Motorcycle helmet with a pistol and a crossbow goes to his door in Illinois. Rings the bell, then tries the knob to enter. When you try the knob, all right, look, I don't want to hear any bathhouse Barry jokes here. This would not be the time or place. Look, not that funny. But when you try the knob, anyway, if a bad guy's outside and reaches the door handle and reaches for the door to open it, you're done. Your intent is proven. You were trying to get in. Rings the doorbell, tries the door to open it, and then yells. Where's he at?
Yo, Nick!
Yo, Nick. This suspect is a triple homicide fugitive.
Looks like these videos are going to continue to surface now that criminal charges have been dropped against Nick Fuentes. And again, I'm no fan of the guy.
Yeah, plenty of people are not. I hope this video shows the second one, because some lady goes up to his door and he blasts her. It says something like, get out of here, get the F out of here. I think he goes over and picks up her phone and walks back inside. Someone who's already had an assassination attempt on his life. political violence is sadly becoming normalized.
I don't like him in any shape or fashion.
I'm aware of him. I know friends that love him. I know people that can't stand him. But he is a voice. And in America, you have a voice. And the more you speak, the more you kind of define who you are and what you stand for. She's not a fan of the guy, but this is organized political violence. This was very similar to how Melissa Hortman was taken out when a guy went to the door dressed as a police officer, had a whole mask over his face, her and her husband, the lady who voted to approve the budget that would strip the theft of Minneapolis, I believe it was Minneapolis, Minnesota at least, funds for Somali invaders. And her husband were assassinated. President Trump, multiple assassination attempts. There are assassination gangs running wild right now, and we need to be aware of it. And you need to have tools to defend yourself.
However, here's another person who showed up to his home with both a pistol and a crossbow and had already murdered 3 other people. He was coming to do the same to Nick. Of course, I'm sure somebody will try to find a way to justify and defend these actions.
All right. Yeah, I think I played the video on a previous show, or maybe I ran out of time. I don't recall. I intended to play it if I didn't. So AF Post, that's America First. Is that Nick Fuentes? I don't know. I'd ask Grok, but Grok isn't working. Are you working yet? Asking Grok. Oh, it is thinking. By the way, partially true, but the second half is a debunked rumor. No evidence that boxes of ticks are found on farms. Investigated by Snopes. Oh, well, that doesn't tell me much. Local officials, Missouri, Illinois, no confirmed reports, no photos, no official complaints. There are real tick control tools like tick tubes or bait boxes that exist. They treat rodents to kill ticks. But those aren't boxes of live ticks being dropped. Tick numbers are up in many areas this year due to mild winters and expanded habitats. That part is real and concerning, but there's no orchestrated release. Classic correlation does not equal causation, plus vaccine skepticism pattern. The Vax news is legitimate, and the tick boxes story is not. Because yes, Pfizer with partner Valneva has a Lyme disease vaccine candidate that showed 70% efficacy phase 3 trials announced in March 26, maybe a month ago. Planning regulatory submissions and hope to release it in 2027. The timing is very coincidental. It would be the first new human Lyme vaccine in over 20 years. Lyme disease is spreading longer tick seasons due to climate and warmer winters. Vaccine targets the bacteria inside the tick before it can infect humans. So that was partially true. Welcome to Dina in chat, by the way. Thanks for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend. Invite all your friends to the bar. We're having a good time. And tell me, question of the day, have you looked at the Kentucky Derby horses? Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win? So after 27 years, InfoWars has left the air. 1999, it looks like. Dark Garbaggio says Alex Jones' storied InfoWars operation has been forcefully shut down after the absurd sham trial that left him owing the families of Sandy Hook victims $1.4 billion. Another comment, his new network is just his ex account. Yeah, so what?
And all glory.
That's how this works. What, people aren't able to make mistakes, get things wrong? Can't work? You got to be depersoned, dehumanized, deplatformed? Yeah, well, that's what he did to them. Okay. Look at ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox and tell me where they've done the exact same thing, completely incorrect, and then they get the airwaves to continue. Except a lot of those, they know that they're wrong, and they're pushing lies and propaganda intentionally. Was Alex Jones pushing lies and propaganda intentionally, or did he run away with the story? The concept of the false flag bite him in the rear after yelling fire in the movie theater too many times? I don't know. It could be any combination of the things. But does that mean the guy's not allowed to work now? You can just be erased. And he was one of the first cases, him and Milo and others, deplatformed all across social media in a very coordinated manner. Oh, yeah, the government, Obama, Biden, all working together to deperson people. You hear the anti-ICE people, they're being rounded up. No due process. Are you rounding up people at the nightclub with no due process because they don't have the green wristband and they don't have the hand stamp? No, you found somebody that snuck in another way and they are being removed. Anyway, let's listen to Alex, what he has to say.
Glory goes to Jesus Christ and our Heavenly Father that leads, guides, and directs us. We are commit ourselves to God in this holy fight, and we are committed. And if God stands with us, who can stand against us? And that's how I close out. So I salute you all. What a crew. The hell we've been through has only made us stronger. Let me ask you, would you have any other way? No. Are you not stronger now in this fight? Yeah! I salute this crew and all the viewers and listeners to this fight, and I commit myself to Jesus Christ's hands.
Amen. Amen. God bless the InfoWar! Woo!
You are the InfoWar. It lives forever. We're going to play Frank Sinatra Blue Eyes and come back with the great Tom Renz and then Jade Iyer to close this out. God bless you all. That's it. The next phase starts. The real war begins now. And all
right. So what's a Special Officer Doofy? We'll always have a lot of good memories with InfoWars. It was one of the first shows I watched when I started to question things many years ago. Best of luck to them, and F those onion guys. They bought InfoWars to take it down. Blackjack, the Florida man, I noticed everyone posting about this is not linking to his new network. Huh. He's got an army of gay frogs wearing InfoWars hats. All right. Jeff in the comments, freedom of speech died when the government created this fraud trial. $1.4 billion is not considered cruel and unusual punishment for an individual. Of course it is. That's insane. That is well far and beyond the punishment not meeting the crime. Questions, how long before we find out that Sandy Hook was actually just the FBI? That's his assertion, not mine. But man, oh man, did we talk about it. I had guests on and I explored the conversation, as we should. Every weird, bad thing that happens, we should ask ourselves what it was about. And I recall being on Coast to Coast AM as a guest, talking about Robbie Parker, the father of one of the victims, laughing and joking, and then he glances over at the press conference and sees all the cameras are on, and he's like, uh-oh. And he goes up to the microphone, the lectern, the podium, whatever you want to call it, and he... Hello, my name is Robbie Parker. 9 seconds ago, he was laughing at the doorway with several people, but he went out to give a performance. You know, the flip side of that is if you have a child that's ended in a facility, you're still allowed to laugh. At funerals, I crack jokes, and there may have been an occasion where I was told to, hey. This isn't a jovial moment here. And it's like, all right. Yep, I agree. Just trying to lighten the mood. It's very thick right now. That's what I do. I'll crack jokes. But we're allowed to talk about things. We're allowed to question things. Did Alex go too far? A court said he did. But $1.4 billion and you can't work anymore to earn money to pay that off, or what? That's a punishment that doesn't make sense. So we'll stay tuned.
Well,
take a listen here. Chris Sims was allegedly fired by NBC from their Sunday Night Football coverage not long after, when he almost revealed what coaches and their wives have been telling him about Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini. Oh,
it's the biggest story in the NFL. I mean, you know, I wouldn't. I'd shoot you straight. These are things that I've been texting with about my friend with my friends in the coaching world. Even their wives are involved in the conversation.
The wives are talking, involved in the conversation.
Well,
Stay on target.
Stay
on target.
What are you talking about? What are you
Oh, his co-host is trying to get him to shut the fuck up.
talking about?
Careful. I'm trying to. You ever see Star Wars?
Yeah.
You ever see Star Wars?
Yeah.
As Luke is going down I don't know. I'm not enough of a Star Wars nerd to know all the terms, but his wingman is telling him stay on target.
Right.
I'm just giving you. I don't look. There's a lot there.
Company man on the left trying to tell his buddy, hey, don't talk about this. Don't rock the boat, pal.
And there's only so much that is reported and known, and I'm just trying to help.
All right. In Star Wars, did they tell that they have the thing called "shut up" and just let the person talk? How about that? Tell me that and read that line
I'm
back
just
to
trying
yourself.
to help you.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Well, it's the biggest story in the NFL. I'd shoot you straight. These are things that I've been texting with about my friend with my friends in the coaching world. Even their wives are involved in the conversation as well.
Stay on target.
Stay on target. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Careful.
Be careful. Let me pull this up on X. I'm telling you, this NFL story, there's more to it. Oh. Yeah. This was a couple days ago, I guess. I missed this. Chris Sims fired over Diana Rossini talk with Mike Vrabel. There's something here. There's something bigger.
There's a lot of people that are uncomfortable talking about this story, and to an extent, I understand all of that. The exchange between Florio and Sims was a little bit more uncomfortable than others. So what was Sims about to say? Why was Florio so protective of him not saying it? So then when the news shortly after breaks that Chris Sims is out at Football Night in America, immediately the online rumors start to run rampant. Oh, this must have been because he spoke out of turn or was about to about Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel.
Why can't you talk about this? Once again, Alex Jones is not allowed to talk if you don't like what he has to say. If Charlie Kirk says things that you don't like what he has to say, you're supposed to take him out. You're just supposed to assassinate people that you disagree with. When did this become the norm? This is not the norm. This is not okay. Chris Sims fired, not allowed to talk. Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, Charlie Kirk. You can like some of these people. You can not even be aware of who the heck they are. Who's Chris Sims? I don't know. Son of Phil Sims, I believe. Who's Alex Jones? I don't like Alex. Nick Fuentes. Do you hear some of the shit he says? Fuck that guy. People say that all the time, but how many people say an assassin who already took 3 lives that day should be able to come over to your house and end your life? Like, where is that written into the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the founding documents of this country? It's not. Freedom of speech exists for people that you don't want to hear from. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel has a right to say whatever he wants. But I think you need to start holding ABC, ESPN, Disney to the fire for firing Curt Schilling, who posted something on one of his social media accounts with a dude in drag in a ladies' restroom and saying, this is what you're fighting for? Stay out of our girls' locker rooms and bathrooms. They fired him. ESPN, ABC, Disney fired him. Well, you have freedom of speech, but you don't have freedom of the repercussions of your actions. Chris Sims fired. Charlie Kirk eliminated. Trump, attempt after attempt after attempt after attempt. Charlie Kirk silenced. InfoWars silenced. There's something more to this story.
I don't buy that one bit. Chris Sims was always going to be fired. This was always going to be an overhaul of talent.
Oh, okay.
At Football Night in America.
I don't know about that. You saw the clip. Huh. Okay. That was Mike Florio that was talking to Chris Sims. Florio was trying to warn him. All right, we'll stay tuned on this story. We're not going to spend a million hours on it, but 'tis interesting. Indeed. Shout out to Kenneth, by the way. Luke, I am your farter. Welcome back. Gosh, I haven't seen Kenneth, I feel like, in a fortnight. Has it been a fortnight? Has it been a fortnight, farter? Meet the fuckers. Meet the farters. Yeah, the line is not, Luke, I am your father. Everyone says that, but that's apparently not the line. That's one of those Berenstein Bears things. Fruit of the Loom, cornucopia things. Yeah. Mandela effect. Nelson Mandela. Good to have you back. Good to see you. How are things with the new move? There was moving going on. And yeah, it's stressful, but it's also invigorating to move, is it not? All right. President Trump is the funniest president we've ever had. Hands down. Taking questions. I don't know who this lady reporter is, but at a press conference, here you go, taking questions from reporters.
Okay, and he hasn't been charged yet with that. Of course, that can come. I want to follow up.
And that's about the attempted assassin at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
On the security changes. Is there talks about you potentially wearing a bulletproof vest moving forward, given you have now been shot at?
I don't know if I can handle looking 20 pounds heavier.
These guys, they look so good. Some of these guys are physical specimens. Some of these guys are trouble. I don't want to be near him.
I don't know if I can handle looking 20 pounds heavier. I know, but President Trump, you gotta be more careful. If there's anybody that can take extra precautions, it's him. But you know, there's a time to ratchet that up, and that's right now. Ratchet this up a little bit. Man, is he funny? It's a good line. It's a good line.
Okay, and
funniest president of all time. Button. Yeah, humor will get you a lot of places. Don't lose yours. Don't let your humor be lost. That's why we appreciate Kenneth and his fart jokes so much. And John and his jokes. Dina and her jokes. Everybody, David, everyone's jokes. We love them. All right. Let's take a look at this story here. Emily Allison points something pretty important out. She reminds us on X. I am following her. I don't know who this is. I follow so many accounts. I don't know who most of them are. She says, so, in 1 week, Democrats are caught funding KKK members, trying to K President Trump, and shut down from drawing voting maps based on race. When the party tells you who they are, believe them. Retire every Democrat politically immediately. You don't have to love every one of President Trump's tweets. You don't have to fully support the war with Iran. Can you believe the gas prices have spiked over the past month and a half? Yes, they have. And you also realize the pain that Iran has been causing the entire global energy market because of their chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz and the power players of the deep state that had that under their thumb. There's a recalibration happening from Russia, Ukraine, Venezuela, Mexico, England, Iran, and other places. Greenland, Panama Canal. The European Union has shown us that they cannot be trusted. They cannot be relied upon. They view us as a never-ending piggy bank, the magic ATM card that just will never stop spitting cash out. I went to the Bronx to cover the President Trump rally down there, covered it for Real America's Voice and the New American Media. And the residents of the Bronx were talking about these illegal alien invaders that are being given magic ATM cards. They've just never run out of money, it seems. Now, maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but $700 a day, or you heard different reports. Why? They're going, I can't take $100 to the bodega and get 2 bags of groceries anymore. I need help. And they're flooding my community with people from parts unknown, with criminal histories unknown, with ideologies unknown. No, thank you. Nobody wants this. When you get an installed leader, and yeah, I do, along with a majority of Americans, believe that Joe Biden was installed. By the way, go get your countervailing views on health and elections. It's cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control about ticks, about vaccines, about the 2020 sham. I mean, completely legitimate 81 million votes for Joe Biden election. Go to cisa.gov/rumor control. I have to do this at 2 finger point so that I can stay on Google YouTube to try to earn a living and pay my bills, kind of like how they shut people like Alex Jones up if they don't like what they have to say. That's what I've been battling for 15 years. It's not easy. Correct. You're correct. I don't want war. I don't want war either. And maybe demolishing the nuclear capabilities of that rogue Islamic supremacist nation and freeing up that strait for maybe turning it into some version of international waters where no one group can hold it hostage anymore. Maybe that could be great for humanity overall, moving forward for a long time to come, resetting, recalibrating the global game of risk. I'm willing to accept that that's a possibility, even though people like Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, there's a whole laundry list of people that Trump has attacked. By the way, he hasn't assassinated them, and he hasn't, despite the fact that some of these people are seemingly turning on Trump and Iran was such a big mistake. And yeah, maybe so, maybe not. In the short term, I don't see much of a benefit to me here. But in the long term, those nuclear production facilities have been demolished. And that Islamic supremacist regime that has been causing thousands, and I don't even know what the death tally can be attributed to since 1979. But they've been attacking Americans and a lot of people through Hezbollah, Hamas, and the other terror groups that they fund for basically half a century. I'm not going to cry or lose sleep over that group not being in charge of ransoming the global energy supply anymore. So, maybe so, maybe not. I'm gonna hope. A little bit of hope. Maybe even a little bit of change. I'm going to hope. And I'm not going to freak out because President Trump reposted a meme that showed him curing somebody on Easter. How dare he do it on Easter? Got a lot of people talking about Easter that don't normally talk about Easter. Is that true? Sort of like the Streisand effect. Speaking of which, we played you the Spencer Pratt video. He's running for mayor of Los Angeles. I guess he was on, was it The Hills? I never watched it, but I guess he was a reality TV guy. He made a video where he showed the $1 million homes of Nithya Raman and whatever other dope is. Was it Karen Bass? And he's like, here's my home. You let it burn down because of your incompetence. I'm living out here in the middle of this. I'm walking the streets with all the slums, the trash and the drugs and the prostitution and the crime and the tents, the garbage everywhere. He wants to fix LA. Give him a shot. He's full of pith and vinegar. Vim and vigor. Nithya Raman. Do not let her get anywhere near places of power. It's gonna take a certain type of person to fix this country. I don't know that we can, but while we have a chance, I feel like we should give it a try. Give warmth, not war. Give warmth, not war. But yeah, Emily says, in 1 week, Democrats were caught funding KKK members, trying to K the president and drawing voting maps based on race. When the party tells you who they are, believe them. Retire every Democrat. Okay? Okay. That's what I want to show you on our Instagram feed. Please follow us on Instagram. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. Reminder, we have Rumble Rant tips and Super Chat tips. It's a brand new month. It's a brand new chance to support the things that you believe in. And please share the show with your friends. Copy the share show link and just text somebody. One neighbor, one friend, one coworker. Because we're here to have a good time in this bar. Full of piss and drug test failure. No, pith and vinegar. I used to think it was piss and vinegar, but I think it's pith and vinegar. I remember looking that up because The Simpsons. I don't know. Well, sir. Ah, yes. Smithers. I'm full of pith and vinegar. I think it was Mr. Burns that said that. Anyway, let's go to our X account. I thought I clicked that. Let's try it for a 7th time. Come on, Jamie. We're going to share this tab instead. This is our our Facebook. Oh my goodness. This is our X account. Please follow us. We're at American_media_. It says, from sports to spirituality, comedy to Congress, and freedom to firearms, seeking truth, challenging dogma, and having fun. Join the mostly civil conversation. Yes, for 15 years, we've been trying to have better conversations, challenging ourselves, going to the people and hearing from them directly, going to live events. January 6th, Bundy Ranch, Occupy LA, Hurricane Helene, aftermath. Inauguration weekend. The Republican convention, the Democrat convention, the Libertarian convention, Conscious Life Expo, the NAM Music Festival, music conventions. So many places. Politicon. We love going places and talking to people. And your support helps make that happen. Yeah, join the mostly civil conversation. 15 years now. Thank you so much. Coming in off the top ropes, Kenneth. Dun, dun, dun. Boom. $10 super chat. Here's to clean pee. You got one of those government tests coming up, Kenneth? Speaking of vinegar, don't you have to drink vinegar and water? Isn't that how you allegedly? I've never done that, but thank you, Kenneth. Super chats are the way to my heart, and it's the way to pay our monthly bills. Thank you, everybody. I love what we do. You know, I was thinking about this earlier because I used to co-host with Blake Wally. I don't know how much Blake is doing these days. We used to just do so many shows together. And I've gone to DC and Nashville and Vegas with Blake. Like, we've done so many events over the years. But when we were doing, I think it was still just the Agree to Disagree show before he rebranded to the TNAM Daily Show. Kenneth, I'd fail if you had to take the time. All right, well. But I know as a producer, as a host, as a co-host, engineer, you know, there's timelines and guidelines and preferences. I know Blake was always seeking the 60 to 90 minute, keeping it tight, you know, and some days I have to, and today has to be a little bit tighter than others. But, you know, to some people, work feels like work. And to some people, it's the best time of the day. And to me, when I would bartend, this was often my favorite opportunity. It was my favorite part of the day where I got to interact with so many different people, great conversations, chances to joke around with them, try to get laughs, get them to talk to their neighbors. Everybody's on their phone. It's not like it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Get the conversation going. Get these people that are regulars to meet each other, become friends. That's what we do over here in chat. Is it not? There, I'll put chat up on the screen. Blake Walleye. No, that would be Blake Wally. If you took a piss test, would you find graphene and hydrogel and nanobots? Oh, boy. Another comment of the or question of the day. Do you do some sort of a detoxification routine? I'm becoming very interested in this as I'm hitting a season of my life where I am going to how do you, you could get back on track. You could devote different resources and dedicate saunas and sweating and fasting and detoxification and weights and cardio and this and that. And I'm definitely like right there in that moment. I love this time when I get to do this. But if any of you do detoxification routines, not medical advice, please tell us in the comments. Love to hear. David would fail the test. I wonder what percentage of our TNAM team, because you're the TNAM team, you're all TNAM regulars here at this bar. How many would fail the test? How many would pass? That'd be a good question. Maybe we could run a poll. All right, let's go ahead and run through our X account. Anna Paulina Luna, representative from Florida, says, attention America, John Thune has said he will not support a CBDC ban, central bank digital currency ban, in any of the legislation that we send over. He has also said, no, save America. Not Afraid says, yeah, this John Thune does not represent America's interest and is a danger to our American republic. I agree. Lots of problems in the Senate, all these F scores. The bad ones with F grades, Mike Rounds, Rhode Island, Joni Erst. Is that Iowa? It's all really small here. Keith Kramer, North Dakota. Tom Cotton, Arkansas. These are all F grades, Liberty scores from Conservative Review. John Boozman, Arkansas. John Barrasso, Wyoming. Jerry Moran, that's a lady, Kansas. Roger Wickler, Missouri. If you hear these names, you're being told to vote against these people in your primaries. Do not let them stay there messing up the Senate. We don't need any Democrats in sheep's clothing pretending to be Republicans, rhinos, Republican in name only. Todd Young. Man, this is really small. Indiana. John Thune, of course, South Dakota. Chuck Grassley, Iowa. John Cornyn, Texas. Lindsey Graham. Now, I heard y'all were talking about a mandate the other day. I'd like to kind of maybe inquire a little bit more about what that was. But I'm a man's man. I'm Lindsey Graham. Shelley Moore Capito, West Virginia. Susan Collins, we know about. Is that Michigan? Lisa Murkowski, Arkansas. And you put out a list like this, and you're saying to eliminate these people or to target these people, the obvious interpretation of that is that you're targeting their reelection campaign to support removing them politically. No violence. You're targeting their campaigns to support their opponent, to remove them politically and try to get this nation back on track. We're burning daylight. We're how many months into the second Trump term? And if we achieved all of our goals, hell no. Got to get these rhinos out of office. DC Drano says, John Thune has backstabbed our voters long enough. It's time for 5 senators to step up and remove him as leader. That's true. Tim Burchett is backing up Representative Anna Paulina Luna that John Thune will not support CBDC ban and not push the Save America Act. Tim Burchett says, I was there. I heard it. I'm Tim Burchett, and I'll leave that light on for you, daggum. Vote in our poll. We just put this out today. Is it time to indict and arrest Anthony Fauci? Everybody jump over to X real quick. Vote on this poll. It's like 10 stories down. No, I don't mean subterranean, like 10 stories down. I mean 10 linked articles down. David likes Chuck Grassley, but he's pretty old and should retire. Dina wants Nate Morris in Kentucky Senate. You know what they're running? They went so hard in the beginning. I was like, why are you going so hard with such a... They were going with their advertisements. Fake Nate Morris. Kenneth points out, 111, Make-A-Wish. Is it a full moon today? Was it last night or tonight? There's 2 full moons in May, I believe. A month of transformation. Who's here for it? I'm here for it. Anyway, scroll down and vote on our poll on X, please. And share these on your X account. We need to boost this account here over on X. Chicago One Ray says, we only have 10 days left before the statute of limitations runs out, or Fauci will have gotten away with lying under oath to Congress. Fauci lied to Rand Paul under oath when he said the NIH does not fund gain of research at the Wuhan lab. Arrest Fauci. Agreed. Mike Ben says Fauci told everyone to self-destruct messages after reading them like it was some covert op out of Mission Impossible. Posted this. However, emails obtained by the committee appear to contradict your testimony. For example, in an email dated Feb 2, 2020, you directed then NIH Director Dr. Francis Collins to please delete this email after you read it. In another email dated, this message will self-destruct in 3, 2, 1. Was that Inspector Gadget? In another email dated July 20, 2020, 2020, to an NIH employee, you stated, I do not want to engage anymore with this nonsense, and so please delete this email after you read it. He thought he was onto something. Laura Logan asks, Laura Logan, who licensed some of my footage on January 6th for some of her work through News to Share, which was pretty cool. She replies, so why hasn't he, Anthony Fauci, also been charged? It's a good point. Yeah, we got to get the indictment of Fauci, David is saying. Is this a full beaver moon or a full moon beaver? I know. Didn't Elon contribute to $6 million to Nate Morris? I believe Nate Morris is the candidate that they're backing, yes. Which is why the Mitch McConnell types are fighting so hard to keep Nate Morris out. I believe that's what that is. Maxwell Smart. Yeah, but, I think Inspector Gadget had... Let me ask, Jamie, did Inspector Gadget often feature self-destructing messages? What about G.I. Joe? I know I've watched these on like the Sunday morning cartoons. Maybe both, maybe all three. Yes, Inspector Gadget famously and frequently featured self-destructing messages. Not so common for G.I. Joe. All right, I was right about Inspector Gadget, and you were right about Maxwell Smart. Now, hang on. Dina says you couldn't sleep last night during the full moon, and a couple of my teeth grew. Everyone be nice to Dina. Dina, don't drink any Coors Lights. That's how they get you. Anyone get it? Anyone get what I was saying? Anthony Fauci, perjury. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, on the Megyn Kelly Show. Where are we at? What are we doing? When will the indictment start?
But the thing that we are working with Jay Bhattacharya, the new NIH director, on with, as well as Secretary Kennedy, is looking at the gain of function research that, in the case of the Wuhan lab, as well as many of these other biolabs around the world, was actually U.S. funded and leads to this dangerous kind of research that in many examples has resulted in either a pandemic or some other major health crisis.
Well, let me ask you specifically, because we already know that EcoHealth Alliance was partnering with this Wuhan lab to do gain of function research.
That's right.
We just have never been able to have somebody say, it was that exact experiment that led to this COVID bug. But have we gotten there? What's the new thing that you're digging in on?
We are working on that with Jay Bhattacharya and look forward to being able to share that, hopefully very soon.
Okay.
That specific
link.
Correct. Between the gain of function research and what we saw with COVID-19.
I mean, that would be extraordinary because, just so the audience knows, if that's true, if it was Peter Daszak's research with the Wuhan so-called bat lady that caused this pandemic, then we did fund it. Then Anthony Fauci helped fund the pandemic.
The thing that he denied over and over and over to Senator Rand Paul's questioning.
That's right. Under oath.
Under oath, exactly. So is it any wonder that he sought a preemptive pardon for anything during a certain period of time by President Biden before he left office?
And then strong-armed and smeared people like Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, anybody who came out and said, I don't know if that's natural. This actually smacks of lab.
And the reason why this is so important is not just what happened in the past. It's because this gain-of-function research is happening in biolabs around the world. I got attacked, and I think you saw this. We've probably talked about it on your show before, when I warned against U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine when the Russia-Ukraine war kicked off for this very reason. Who knows what kinds of pathogens are in these labs, and if released, could create another COVID-like pandemic. And for that, I was called a Russian asset. You're, trumpeting Putin's talking points, all of this nonsense, simply for speaking the truth and stating facts that, by the way, are still on U.S. Embassy Ukraine's website.
To cover their tracks and cover up their crimes.
Today.
Their culpability, their complicity.
About how the U.S. has funded these biolabs in Ukraine. But my point is, in order to prevent another COVID-like pandemic or another major health incident that could affect us in the world, we have to end this gain-of-function research and provide the evidence that shows exactly why and how it's in our best interest, the American people's best interest, to bring about an end to it.
Please hurry. I can't rest until Fauci is indicted and held accountable for his actions. What's up, Burr? You driving bus today? Didn't Biden's auto pen help Fauci escape this, though? Maybe so, maybe not. Like Leon says, my gosh, Megyn, go eat something. Well, let me add something about Megyn Kelly. Yeah, she tried to kneecap President Trump in the first primary in 2016. We know that. But she's gotten a lot of stuff right over the years, and she's been pretty critical of President Trump, and President Trump has attacked her and whatnot. Verbally went after her. But Megyn Kelly has publicly claimed that she suffered a vaccine injury in early 2025. In earlier comments in 23, she stated on her podcast she developed an unspecified autoimmune condition after receiving 2 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine plus a booster in 2021. Doctors, including a rheumatologist, could not pinpoint the exact cause, but suggested likely link to Pfizer shots and boosters. This all according to X. Her rheumatologist repeatedly told her she was not the only patient with this timeline. She's expressed regret, saying, I wish I hadn't done it, but I did. She continues to test positive for the autoimmune issues and follow-up checkups. Interviews and episodes criticizing aspects of the medical and public health response. Causation for autoimmune conditions is complex. They can have genetic, environmental, or infectious triggers. Individual cases like this are not proof of widespread risk. She's been vocal about it as part of a broader skepticism toward COVID vaccine mandates and messaging. So if she's not looking all so well, she's told us she's not doing that well. Just by the way, I just connecting those dots there. Yeah, she's disappearing when she turns side. She is sick though. I know people with autoimmune issues, and it's weird because you can't really figure out how to fix it. And it's not good. It's pretty awful. No, that was gain of function, Kenneth, not gain of rumption. Megyn needs to do some squats and get that rump back because she's losing so much weight. No, not gain of rumption, gain of function. Yeah, there you go, Dina. That's exactly what I was saying. I know Megyn was angry about the COVID shot. She had, what is AED? Auto efficiency disorder. I don't know. What is AED? Oh, unless she's also taking the weight loss shot. All right. Let's keep crushing the news. Come on, Tulsi, we need you. Attorney General James Utmeyer says, hey, Mark Elias, who says, anyone who is wondering why DeSantis is waiting to sign the new Florida map, it is because he is scared he will lose in court. I beat Republicans before when they broke the state constitution by partisan redistricting, and I will do it again. Here are my receipts. Well, Attorney General James Utmeyer of Florida says, hey, Mark, would you like to update everyone on the loss that you took last night in the Northern District of Florida? Would you like to? Harmeet Dillon's looking on. Now that race-based districting is gone. Oh, autoimmune, yes. Okay, I was right. I'm going to show you maps. I was going to tell you what was going on in the Northeast and the Southeast. Republicans are absolutely getting shut out of representation in Congress. And you've had probably since the 60s, civil rights era legislation that maybe at first there were some things that were like, hey, you know, a little bit of hand up. What is it? Hand out, help up, hand up, leg up, hand out. What am I trying to say? Maybe in the 60s, a little bit of assistance to certain communities that were kind of really being held back. Maybe a little bit of stuff for a little bit of time was one thing, but you fast forward 70 years later, 60, 70 years later, and you have an absolutely weaponized Democrat Party that does everything based on race. They're never helping this country. They're just keeping segments of society in constant fear, constant rage over their lies and propaganda so that they can keep some political power and control. Race-based politics. Oh, do they love it, those Democrats. But guess what? It's unconstitutional, and it always has been. And now every place is going to be redistricting, redrawing the lines, and you're going to see very different results. And hopefully, we're going to have a lot less of the race hoaxes, the race-based rage campaigns that Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, go down the laundry list of the top 50 most influential Democrat political leaders of the past 50 years. And you're going to see just how toxic, divisive, I mean, it's pure poison what they've been feeding the communities that they allege they're there to serve. No, they're not there to help you. They're there to gain political power by weaponizing your fear and outrage on stories that are inaccurate, knowingly doing it, knowing that the information they're feeding you with rage is false. The Fine People hoax, Exhibit 1. So to the people who sometimes say nothing's happening, nothing makes a difference, it's all the same, Republicans and Democrats are the same exact thing. I'm out on Trump. I can't believe he did that. Could you believe he said something to that person? He's so childish. Why would he? Now he's starting wars everywhere. He's a dictator. He's Hitlerian. Calm down. There are massive wins happening. But if you let Fauci go, I can never let that go. I can never resolve. My family can never resolve what you did with your medical malpractice to ensure that my brother could not receive top-notch medical care. And you provided only one course of remedy in the hospital that did nothing to help save his life. You know? Now my best friend, my brother's gone forever. Fuck you, Fauci. Indict this bastard. Do it today. Don't wait 10 days. Don't make it close. Do it today. Don't tell me after 5 years you failed to make your case. The new emerging story is that Pam Bondi set a lot of stuff in motion, tapped out and went back to the private sector. Next man up, he's a temporary, Todd Blanche, Attorney General. But all of these indictments are getting unsealed now. Comey just got one, and there's an avalanche coming. I'm not going to tell you to trust a plan, some phantom plan. I'm not going to tell you to run for the hills for some invisible thing that you can't see. And everybody better shut your life down like they did in 2019, 2020. It was a real weapon. It was a real bioweapon. You know, I thought the only people impacted were the super old and super fat, but my brother was not even 40 years old and he was in good shape. Yeah. We got 9 days to do this, 10 days to do this. Let's make this happen, please. Check out yesterday's show. Savannah Hernandez, all three who attacked her have been charged. SCOTUS strikes the Louisiana map in California Somali mail-in fraud. I guess it's California, Minneapolis, or Minnesota, California, basically nationwide fraud from the Democrats. Matt Van Swol says, holy crap, what's going on with the indoctrination of your kids? Pull your kids from the indoctrination centers.
Mecklenburg schools will not have school next Friday. District leaders making that unanimous decision just minutes ago. And it comes as thousands of teachers and staff members across North Carolina plan to rally in Raleigh. In fact, sources say more than 1,300 CMS employees have already requested May 1st off to protest North Carolina's ongoing budget impasse and lack of teacher raises. Again, CMS leaders just voting to cancel class next Friday, May 1st. Mecklenburg schools will not have school next Friday. District leaders making that
Yeah, and by the way, you're mentioning, Dina, let's not forget Fauci's role with AIDS, the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It's acquired because it's not inherited or genetic. You get it from exposure to the virus. Lone Star ticks, anyone? Corona, COVID-19. Immuno affects the immune system. Deficiency weakens the body's ability to fight infections and disease. Syndrome, a collection of symptoms and illnesses that occur together. Get Fauci. Indict Fauci. Do it today. But yeah, 50% of all North Carolina kids will not have school Friday, so the teachers can protest. Parents are panicking after even more school districts canceled classes last night. My son's school has canceled classes for this protest. It's insane. I fostered my neighbor in Los Angeles, Izzy, 10-year-old, 5th grade school next door. What'd you do in class today? Oh, we had a walkout. Huh? We had a walkout. We had a walkout? What does that mean? Oh, we all walked outside. We protested. Who did? Everybody. The teachers had us all go outside. The teachers had you do it. Yeah. For what? For guns. What do you mean for guns? For guns. What do you mean? You protested what for guns? That people shouldn't have guns, against gun violence. They're teaching you that the Second Amendment is bad because evil exists, and on a level playing field, they'll probably get you. So you better even the playing field by being armed yourself so you can be more deadly than they are. Yeah, because guns are bad and gun violence. Pull your kids from these liberal indoctrination centers. Is he doing okay? Yeah, his timeline has just been pushed up, and he's going to be joining the Air Force really soon, a couple weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Libs of TikTok says, Democrat Michigan Senate candidate Mallory McMorrow. Oh, it's Mallory McMorrow. I got to work on my Irish. It is a fine. Tis a fine pot. What is it? Tis a fine bond, but tis no pool. English. Doeth. Let me try it again. Democrat Michigan Senate candidate Mallory McMorrow. I can't say it right. Democrat Michigan Senate. 7th time is a charm. Democrat Michigan Senate. I'm going to do this until I get it. Democrat Michigan Senate candidate Mallory McMorrow voted in California after she had permanently moved to Michigan. Now, how could you ever do that? I thought there was no waste, fraud, and abuse or corruption in our voting system. Oh, wait, there's a ton. So you pass the Save America Act and you stop it. Stay tuned on this story. Local man discovers he's secretly a real estate mogul after county invents $186,000 for him. Midland, Texas, in a stunning financial revelation this week, says Nino America. A local homeowner learned he's apparently made a massive profit without selling anything, receiving any money, or otherwise participating in reality. I had no idea I was doing this well, the man said, reviewing a notice informing him that his modest home, purchased for $60,000 in 2009, is now worth $246,000, according to a highly sophisticated system known as a guy with a clipboard and vibes. Despite never listing the property, fielding offers, or seeing so much as a nickel of his newfound wealth, the homeowner confirmed he is now expected to pay taxes as if he recently closed a blockbuster deal. I checked my bank account just to be sure. Nothing. No mysterious deposit, no wire transfer, not even a congratulations email, but apparently I'm crushing it. County officials reassured residents that the system is working exactly as intended. You're not being taxed on money you have, one official explained patiently. You're being taxed on money you could hypothetically have in an alternate universe where you sold your house but didn't need a place to live afterward. By the way, I just got one of these motherfucking letters in the mail. Have you had one of these? Pay us more money or we're going to take your property. Kind of seems like a slave owner, doesn't it? Kind of seems like anti-American, anti-constitutional abuse. Rules that are abhorrent to the Constitution are null and void, are they not? There's a continued nationwide push to remove the property tax. Oh, they're trying to get creative. If you leave our state, we're going to tax you on once you leave. Oh, you got to pay this huge transfer fee once you leave. It's an exit tax. Fuck you. You take enough, you take too much, and you're not taking more. I think the American people, once you filter out the ballots that are counted in the big blue cities that override the 95% of the rest of the state that don't want their bullshit deep state Democrat garbage, I think if you remove the fraud potential in our elections, you're going to get a lot of new policies, maybe some good policies. But the time to fix this country is now, or else forever hold your peace. Continuing the article, experts clarify that this differs significantly from other forms of taxation, where individuals are typically taxed on actual income or realized gains. For example, if your stock portfolio doubles, you don't owe taxes until you sell, said one analyst. But your home is different because, well, it just is. Please stop asking questions. By the way, let me get back to your public indoctrination centers. The Democrats who run the schools that indoctrinate your kids, by the way, the latest Trump assassin was a highly indoctrinated or educated California Democrat from their school system that's rotting the brains of your kids to make them perma-Democrats. And who wants all the school levies? Who wants all of that? Oh, are they addicted to getting money from your home? Won't somebody think of the children? Won't somebody think of the children and my pensions and my vacation and my second home and my fancy clothing and my luxury bags and my designer outfits and my new vehicle? But think of the kids, right? Just raise the property taxes. By the way, it's just those evil rich people that have their own homes. Get them. Democrat philosophy is the philosophy of greed. No. Those people are doing so well. We just need some of it. Oh, you need. You're not going to create, you're going to take. Yeah, that's called theft. No, it's politics. Stop the Democrats everywhere you are. School boards, mayors, governors, congressional members, anybody with a D next to their name, vote them out. Talk to some of your friends peacefully, politely, calmly. Encourage them all to vote every Democrat into retirement. Raise the price of my mortgage. I already bought the house. I'm already doing a set term. We had taxes when I bought it. Those are the taxes we should be paying. And in fact, I shouldn't be paying those taxes. No, it's just those greedy people. Stop it. Everybody has a list of things and goals and accomplishments they're trying to attain. Personally, financially, business, family, legacy, retirement. There's a million things people are doing. You have no right to dictate the terms and go steal more from somebody else because you think they have more shit than you do. Marxism, communism, socialism, it's the politics of greed. I want what they have. Let's go get it. And that's what property tax is. So, for example, continuing the article, if your stock portfolio doubles, you don't owe taxes until you sell, but your home's different because, well, it just is. Stop asking any questions. Local residents have reportedly begun experimenting with applying the same logic elsewhere. If my neighbor can assign value to my house and bill me for it, the homeowner said, I'm assigning value to my free time. I've determined the county now owes me $500,000 annually for emotional distress and inconvenience. At press time, officials were exploring ways to increase property values even further, noting that if numbers can be written down once, they can be absolutely written down again, and again and again, and again and again and again, even higher. Meanwhile, the homeowner confirmed he is considering selling the property just to finally meet the rich guy everyone keeps telling him he is. Yeah, I got to sell my home so I can meet the rich guy. Oh, the rich guy, you're inventing shit. Oh yeah, your home's gone up $100,000 since whatever year. Huh? This is all up in a cloud somewhere. I don't have a bag of cash sitting here from gains from the past whatever years. That's not a thing. So we got to stop this. You want to tax? Find another way. I love that article. That is so well done. Manisha says a man spends 50 years teaching at MIT. He knows his time is running out, so he records one last lecture, everything he knows distilled into a single hour. And he died 5 months later. That is the lecture. Most important hour you'll watch all week. Bookmark it for later. Your success in life will be determined largely by your ability to speak, he says. Ability to write and the quality of your ideas, in that order.
In that order.
I'm not going to play this, but if you want to watch this, I encourage you to do it. I haven't watched it either, but it feels important. It feels noteworthy. Yes, kind of doeth. That too. So Spencer Pratt runs a mayoral race, and his opponent, LA City Councilwoman Nithya Raman, an absolute dope, blasted the Hill Star for filming a campaign outside her home. He replies, Nithya is just validating the entire premise of our commercial. She doesn't care if there's homeless drug addicts in front of your home, in front of your kid's school. But God help her if a man in a suit takes a picture on the public street for 2 minutes. Exactly. Rand Paul, senators introducing a congressional amendment to end birthright citizenship. Under current interpretations of American law, anyone born on American soil automatically becomes a U.S. citizen, regardless of whether the parent was here legally or not. This is wrong, and not at all the intent of those who wrote the 14th Amendment, obviously. We are a country filled with immigrants, and legal immigration is valuable and should be protected. We are also a country whose borders have been too open and our generosity exploited too often. President Trump has moved to seal our border from illegal immigrants more than any other president. We need to make sure that only children born to legal residents of the United States are automatically citizens. I have supported protecting birthright citizenship from abuse since the beginning of my tenure in the Senate, when I co-sponsored the Birthright Citizenship Act of 2011, and now I am proposing an amendment to protect United States citizenship in case the Supreme Court fails to address the issue correctly. Good. That's a great backup plan. The royal family sends a farewell and thank you for the warmth of your welcome, to the kind support, the visit to the United States. Okay. Erica Kirk posted that my husband set the standard. I agree. But when did Turning Point USA start? What year was that, actually? Out of curiosity. Well, I did have a brief opportunity to ask Charlie Kirk one question, and he had no time, so he gave me 20 seconds in a soundbite. So I'm not claiming to have influenced Charlie Kirk, but the Agree to Disagree show did start a year before Turning Point USA, and Charlie's message going to the college campuses was, keeping in mind that we started the Agree to Disagree show in 2011, he started his organization, TPUSA, in 2012, a year later. I endorse this message fully.
You guys are welcome to ask anything. Open mic, disagreement, most welcome. If you disagree, come to the front of the line. If you disagree, come to the front of the line. If you disagree, go to the front of the line. You guys
are you catching the trend?
Know how it works. You disagree, you can go to the line. We'll have a great conversation here.
Who are you?
My name is Charlie Kirk, and I love America.
Why are you here?
Because I love talking with people I disagree with.
What have you done for your country?
Started an organization that's now in 1,000+ campuses to save the greatest culture and country ever to exist. I love talking to people I disagree with. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens.
And they took him out for that. What was Jesus preaching that was so bad that he had to be executed, tortured, and just made fun of and demonized? Charlie wanted to talk. Once again, this is the ad Spencer Pratt read. Spencer Pratt read. By the way, I feel like they don't understand the Streisand effect. The more you talk about something, the more people are going to listen to it. So now that she's complaining that the ad was shot, Now more people are talking about the ad, so I'll play it.
This is where Mayor Bass lives. You notice something? Or here, where Nithya Raman's $3 million mansion sits. They don't have to live in the mess they've created where you live. This is where I live. They let my home burn down. I know what the consequences of failed leadership are. That's why I'm running for mayor. For my sons and the rest of us Angelinos that want to stop these corrupt politicians from destroying our city. We are going to get the golden age of Los Angeles back.
I'm in. I don't know much about the guy, but I'm in. Good for you. And the more you complain about the ad, now we're going to play it. Man-Made Cinema says apparently it was shot in 3 hours. And 2.5 hours were just driving to locations. Written the night before, improv'd half the lines. No consultants, no crew. He outdid the entire political elite his first try. You are all underestimating just how talented and smart Spencer Pratt is. Fair warning. I know Scott Adams would routinely warn us. He's like, AOC, you can make fun of her, and it's obvious, it's easy to do, but you better be prepared because she's bringing something to the table that's resonating. Mamdani, he's something is clicking and resonating. Don't underestimate these people. They're dangerous, but don't just laugh and overlook. You got to kind of understand why. Anyway, I'm supporting this guy. And in fact, just unrelated, I didn't plan on doing it, but I am wearing my, well, I guess it doesn't say California on it, does it? I'm wearing my California shirt. The California Republic Bear. It's a Levi's shirt, not a sponsor. But I'll always consider myself a partial Californian, partial Angelino. I have a special place in my heart for it. Always will. And I want to see the best for it. I spent a lot of time. Yeah, that is a good ad, isn't it? A lot of my time trying to improve I lived in the inner city. I lived in the hood. I lived on the wrong side of the tracks. When I was working at a talent agency, co-worker, a young black lady, I'm a young white dude at the time. She's like, oh, you live where the bougie black people. What'd she say? You live where the bougie blacks live. I go, huh? She goes, the bougie blacks. You live where the bougie blacks live. I go, I'm hearing most of what you're saying, but what are you saying? She goes, oh, that used to be a Jewish area, but when they went to Beverly Hills, that's where the well-to-do black people moved in. I'm like, well, maybe they do up on the hill, but down here, it's all Section 8. So, well, not all of it, but half of it. A lot of it. Too much of it. A little bit here and there is one thing, but turning homeowners, a homeowner association, into a permanent rental housing complex, that was not in the bylaws. And that's gone too far. That needs to be redone. And when I oppose that, I found some things out. Let me tell you. Danny was doing a report live streaming, and Belgium police surrounded him. They were watching his live stream. Migrant trafficking gangs are now openly threatening to S him in the head. On top of that, French authorities banned him. Looks like the Belgian police are monitoring him too. They approached him on the street, took me back to my hotel, checked my ID, and searched the place. People need to rise up against the invading army that's been pre-positioned across your country to overthrow your way of life and permanently, fundamentally change the United States of America. We're just 5 days away. Keep talking. Don't let them silence you. 0 Hour 1 says Republican politicians have been asking me for money. The answer is no. Pass the Save America Act and get back to me. David says it's possible that the Democrats only have 6 districts in the entire Deep South. Look at this. Democrats might only have 6 districts. Six. The entire Deep South. And by the way, that's so unfair. That's so unfair. Okay. Look at the map of the Northeast. It's all blue. And it's 40-something% Republican. By the way, when you don't base everything on race, Sean Davis, there are 0 Republican seats in New England. Okay, Marty put this video out. This will be my video of the day. And we'll wrap on that one. President Trump set to appear in the Villages, Florida today. Any Florida watchers near the Villages? You can go say hi to President Trump. I don't know what time that's going to be. Listen to Hakeem Jeffries, how he's trying to warp what the Supreme Court did that says, stop dividing this country by race. We're done. We're not doing it. It is bad. It's toxic. It's poison for the nation. Hakeem Jeffries tries to twist that into this.
And now we're at a point where affirmative action is gone, diversity is gone, equity gone, inclusion gone.
I like Jasmine Crockett. She does the poor lighting in here. She's got her side eye on him. She, does the head shake.
Equity gone, inclusion gone, racial tolerance gone, the Voting Rights Act largely gone. But guess what, extremists? We're still here. That's right. And we're not going anywhere. And we believe it.
Wow, is that a Jeb Bush please clap moment? This guy, they call him Dollar Store Obama or Timu Obama.
Extremists, we're still here. That's right. And we're not going anywhere. And we believe in this country. That's right. Not a perfect country. And now we're at a...
Wow, this dude is uninspiring. Cynical Publius says, I speak Democrat. Allow me to translate what Hakeem Jeffries just said. Affirmative action equals active discrimination. Diversity equals people who all think and act exactly alike. Equity, Marxism. Inclusion, the exclusion of undesirable groups. So, look, that is a massive win for this country. We've got to move past this stuff. I was so hopeful that whatever remnants of the pains of racism and bigotry and division and hatred and unfairly targeting people just because of what they looked like was going to be over. I didn't vote for Obama anytime, but I was hopeful that our first half white, half black president was going to be able to literally say, now look, in my life with a white mother and, either it was Frank Marshall Davis or that guy from Indonesia or Kenya or whatever. Let's not dig too deep on that. Some even say I was created in a lab by the CIA to be the perfect Manchurian candidate. I'm skinny. I got a nice smile. I can talk a little bit. I can even shoot some hoops or something. And I could, maybe unite this country. I've been called an Oreo before, half white, half black. And look, this country, we've had some rough times. But what I could have said was, look, let's come together. Let's stop all this, giving the old okey doke on race. And, let's just fix the things that could be improved, like healthcare. Let's just open up access and try to find creative ways to bring the cost of that down. Safe borders. We gotta check. Every bar has a bouncer. Just gotta run a criminal history. You don't want some rapist living in your neighborhood. Of course not. And as a community organizer, I'm going to take all those lessons from Bill Ayers, William Ayers, and, the Marxist Little Red Schoolhouse. And I'm going to set that aside because we got work to do. I'm going to roll up my chicken wing sleeves here. I got the skinny tie and I got the, the button up, but I'll keep a button down because I'm kind of cool. Kids think I'm cool. 6'7". But look, we got work to do. And we're not going to bring all this rigmarole with racism back, and we're not going to weaponize it and go after our political opponents. No, we're coming together. Just like the creamy center of the Oreo comes together with the chocolatey, crunchy cookie on the outside. We're coming together, folks, because that's what good folks do. Sticking together is what good waffles do. And, look, Obama could have said any of that shit, but he didn't. Such a train wreck for this country in 1,000 ways. And I've also prayed for him to be safe so that we can dismantle his terrible policies And with Tulsi Gabbard exposing what's been done, perhaps indict him, try him for the treason that he has committed. The coup of 2020. The incessant weaponization of the lawfare system. All of it. But peacefully. Anyway. Senator Chris Van Hollen defends a Maine Democrat, Graham Plattner, who has a Nancy tattoo in his social media post saying that women should act like an adult to avoid rape. What? Oh, this is one of the weirdest things. This can't be.
The dude has not had a Nazi tattoo. I mean, let's be clear about what's going on here. I mean, how do you view that? I mean, it seems to be.
By the way, in the chat, Kenneth is saying, you're calling me Hot Tub Barry. Look, you gotta get the vernacular right. It's Bathhouse Barry. Back when I was Barry Soweto or Sotoro or Soweto or Barry, just call me Barry. But it's Bathhouse Barry, not Hot Tub Barry. Although, not too dissimilar. But we gotta be on top of that. Yeah, Obama turned out to be an O-bummer. Exactly.
At least somewhat disqualifying in traditional.
Certainly historically.
So look, I mean, let's take a couple issues, including the comments he's made in the past. I mean, he's been very clear that he went into combat on behalf of the United States. He went through a really rough period, PTSD type period.
This is the lover of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the human trafficker allegedly in Tennessee. Oh, that Maryland man. Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen defending this guy.
He has himself said there are lots of things he's done and said that he completely regrets. Yep. And I do believe people should have second chances and that people can learn from their mistakes. And I think he's been doing that.
Okay, but it doesn't hear RNC says women should act like an adult to avoid rape. That was not in this clip. So if you're going to post that, that would be helpful. To either have that or drop it. House Freedom Caucus says, let's be clear, the House GOP has been doing its job. We passed the Save America Act multiple times, yet where's the Senate? Time for the Senate GOP to quit punting and do their job. The American people are waiting. Tim Burchett says, now dadgummit, do your job, Senate. I'm Tim Burchett, and I'll leave the light on for you. I think that's where I'm going to wrap the show for now. I'm going to end it on this. This is your moment of Zen. Leave you on a high note. Enjoy the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. It's an American tradition. We have lots of those. Don't say America has no culture. 250 years of culture. Thank you very much. Good luck to everybody. And hopefully my horse hits. I'm going with Great White. That's the horse I'm picking. Great White. I think they have the longest odds. A couple bucks could turn into quite a few bucks. Yeah, the nation's veterinarians and groomers are trying to push a equivalent bill called the Shave America Act. You could also make a joke about Iranian women. You could also make a joke about... you could do a lot with Shave America Act. Just because Iran's in the news. And they're also known to have hairy arms and just lots of hair. So do the Greeks, and so do the Turks, and all sorts of groups. All right, this is your moment of Zen, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody in chat. Here, let me minimize. Let me put this up on the screen big. Appreciate you all being here. This is our Friday show. We'll see you on Monday. Hit the like button, share the show with a friend, engage in the comments like you do, bring some more people to this bar, have a good time, and consider Rumble Rants, Super Chats, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If you like the show, support the show. That's how we keep going. That's how we keep the lights on. I'm Tim Burchett, and I'll leave the light on for you. All right. So my understanding, I don't know, it says no soliciting. I don't know what kind of cart this is. And it is theoretically possible that this is the person's cart that they took in. But I think what's going on is this person is trying to take the shopping cart with them. And Marty says it looks like karma has sent a polite reminder. If it doesn't belong to you, maybe don't test the borrowing policy. maybe the same could be applied to illegal alien invaders who come to America trying to fundamentally transform us. So let's watch it. Not entirely. Actually, you know what? Before we watch it, let me ask Grok. Context of thus. This video clip, was she trying to steal this? Because it could have been her cart, and she's just not good at. Oh, come on, Grok. Give me a hand. Anything? Posted today by the South African creator, focused on humorous daily fails, over 1 million views. Darth Marty's framing. Do we know for certain it wasn't her personal cart? But yeah, a lot of people take the carts home with them. I used to deal with this in Los Angeles a lot. They just abandon them behind the buildings. We go, no. Oh, no. We're not doing this. And that's step one of the broken window theory. You don't let that happen in your neighborhood. She's a basket case. Grok, thinking about the request. Come on, it's not that important, but I'm just trying to be intellectually honest. No, there's no evidence it was her personal cart. It's a standard store shopping cart, trolley in a supermarket style parking lot. Video's been widely shared since at least 2024 as an attempted theft. Okay. Well, here we go. Your moment of Zen. Maybe there is karma in this world. Try to be a good person. I got to mute the music. I'm just going to take this cart with me. There you go. All right. That goes there. Kaboom! Let's see if there's noise on the kaboom with the music. Here we go. Oh, that was a really bad idea now, wasn't it? Well, that goes there now. You can have it. Don't steal stuff, including a nation. Don't steal it. Oh, that's easy for you to say. You stole from the native people. Yeah, they were nomadic tribes. It didn't belong to them. More than it belongs to us. We are the current stewards, and we're trying to make it a decent place for everybody. If you're going to come here and be cool, stay peaceful, be productive, helpful. Come on, there's standard tenets of society that you know, whether you're religious or not. You know a good way to live and a shitty way to live. Go out there and live awesome. Don't be like this lady. All right? All right. Yeah, it does look like a clothing cart. Yeah, in my neighborhood in Los Angeles, a lot of people would take the Target shopping carts home because it was across the street. You have older people that would take the carts, like they just couldn't carry it, but they didn't have a car. And so like you'd end up in these scenarios. You know, I know one of the things with charity is you're not supposed to talk about it, but I will in this case because the story makes sense. There was an older lady on the upstairs of the building, actually lived right above Izzy. God, I remember the day the temperature swelled to 117 degrees and her door warped and she couldn't get out, and it was all sorts of. Ooh, that was. But yeah, I'd see her struggling to get upstairs. She had mobility issues, and I'd be like, no, hold on, I'll get it. Or she'd come down with her trash. I go, no, I'll come up and grab it. Like, I don't want to see you fall. Although, like, it is good to, get out and get exercise and activity. I didn't want to dissuade her from that, but like, I wanted to help any chance I could. But I was watching TV one night and I heard shh. I'm like, the heck is good? What the hell is that? Go over to the window and I look out and I see the neighbor, and she's got one of these carts, a personal cart, like a trolley or whatever, put laundry in or put groceries in, and it's got 4 wheels on it. It's like a tall rectangle you kind of push in front of you. But the front wheel had broken off. And so she would go and scrape the corner of it. And then she'd take 2 or 3 steps, catch up to it, and then go like creating sparks and stuff. Not really, but you know. And I go, oh, we can no, we can't have this. And so at Target, we went and got a new push cart. I don't know if it was around Christmas or not, but got a push cart from Target and then quietly walked up to her front door, put a bow on it, set it at her front door, put a little message for her. And then we saw her using the cart normally again. It's like, oh, that was good. But that's you're supposed to look out for your neighbors. You're supposed to be a nice person. You're not supposed to steal stuff. You're supposed to keep your area clean. Jordan Peterson says, clean your room before you try to fix the world's problems. There's a lot of truth in that. But that's why we try to gather here every day, you know, Monday through Friday at noon on the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media, so that we can hang out together, kind of talk these things through. If there's stuff we're getting wrong, let's correct it. I've never intentionally tried to lie to you about a story, and I hope that's one of the things that you enjoy about this program. But yeah, people used to take shopping carts home all the time from every grocery store. Ralph's, Vons, Mark's, Target, Walmart, anywhere. And they'd take the cart home, but they never took it back. Or they'd leave it there for 6 weeks and then they'd take it back when they go to the store again, then bring it back. And you're like, this is not it. This is not it. Well, Kenneth, thank you. Brian doing God's work again. Like I said, I try not to talk about the stuff because you're supposed to do charity for charitable purposes. And, you know, if you're doing it for self-aggrandizement and you just want, you know, be like, look at how awesome I am. And you go, you might be doing that for the wrong motivation there, pal. You're supposed to do acts of charity in not in darkness, but keep it to yourself. Then you know that you're doing it for altruistic purposes and not for ulterior motives, allegedly. But yeah, the story makes sense. And talking about shopping carts, and that was a nice story. And you know what? I do believe that there are instances where you can share an inspirational story and it could elicit other charitable acts once people hear it. Maybe one of you will take that message home with you and go, well, what have I done nice for my neighbors? Their yard's getting tall, knock on their door, offer to cut the lawn, help them with their groceries. You see that maybe you have a third vehicle that runs, but you don't really need it. Like, and they don't have a vehicle. Have you thought about donations? There's a million ways to help out your fellow humans. And I think activism is the rent that we pay to live on Earth. I think doing a show like this and trying to expose stories that need exposure, trying to correct false narratives, I think all this stuff is super important. And charity is probably an area that we should all do a little bit more, myself included. Just because I did one thing, don't make you please don't make it seem like I do stuff like that on a daily, multi-daily basis. I don't. But when the mood strikes, when you notice it, and if you're primed to look for a place where you can help, you see your neighbor. Hey, do you need a tool? You don't have? I got one. If you want to borrow it. All right, cool. But really, put it on my back. Put it on my porch when you're done or whatever. Hey, let me give you some of this. Let me donate some of that. Like, what can I do to help you here? Like, we're all just, this package was delivered here. It's just being a good human. And unfortunately, when you have mental illness, when you have severe physical trauma, when you have drug addiction and you end up on the streets, like you're just not living right. Some people need help and other people need to be helped from themselves. And just because they're going through it and they're out of control spiraling, it doesn't mean we all have to tiptoe around it and tolerate it. Clean up your room, clean up your home, clean up your community. And Spencer Pratt, who's running for California mayor, I'm not on his team yet, but maybe I'll reach out to work on his team. He proposed a new app where it's like 311, where you call for services, but it's going to rank and prioritize. Has this been taken care of? You got a homeless encampment here. Has it been cleaned up? You got trash piled up over here. Has it been cleaned up? You have graffiti over here. Has it been cleaned up? I did this for 15 years in Los Angeles. I can't even begin to tell you. It felt like Newman that day where he crashes out explaining where working as a mailman. And you go out and do your job and you deliver all the packages and you come back and then there's more packages. You're never caught up. They keep piling up and piling up and piling. And he goes, Newman, he goes, ah. It's kind of like showing how postal workers go postal. My postal people are awesome, by the way. I like every one of these people. They're cool. I got to watch more Seinfeld. What a good show. But yeah, I see stuff happening, and when it's really bad, when I don't like it, whether it's Bundy Ranch where they're sicking German shepherds on pregnant women and shooting cattle from helicopters for the crime of grazing on open, unused Bureau of Land Management land, where the farmers who have been there for a very long time have put in water systems so that it can help the local ecology, and it's a watering station for all the flora and fauna in the area. Cows grazing on the grasses, dropping manure to help fertilize and restore the soil of the barren wasteland, which is the Las Vegas desert. You shouldn't be shooting these from helicopters. You shouldn't be sicking dogs on pregnant ladies. What are you doing? This is not right. And every day I turn on the news and I see 1,000 things that I don't like. But it's like Jack Nicholson said in The Departed. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. That's why if you're in an HOA, you better be on the board of directors to help steer it so it doesn't go off a cliff and so it does what it's supposed to do. And you can't, unfortunately, I know it'd be so much easier. They say Marge Simpson on one of those episodes, maybe a Treehouse of Horror, she says, ignorance is bliss. Yeah, ignorance is bliss. Take the red pill, the blue pill. You can't go back once you realize just how things are. That comment that I read about Alex Jones being one of the formational waking up points in 1999 over the past 25 or so years, however many years it was, 28 years. Once you see what's going on, there's no going back. So let's put our heads together and figure out a better way. I'm done tolerating the Democrats who have one mission. It's destroy Republicans, take out Trump. Fuck off. How about let's fix the things that need fixing and let's innovate some good things. I don't want you to destroy your political opponent. It's like sitting on an HOA board and all you do is argue with each other. The building needs painted. How about we get a competent painter at a fair price who's going to do the proper prep work to basically scrape the hell out of it, replace all the screens, replace all the downspouts, replace all the fascia board. Everything's been rotted away by time and mismanagement and just letting it fall. I just want to fix the things that need fixed. I want to make the community better, cleaner, safer, nicer. And of course, that's gentrification. And of course, I was yelled at, this is the ghetto, Brian. I said, the fuck it is, lady. I said, this is a community. And if we have a yard, it's going to be green. No, you can't water during a drought. No. We can put in sprinklers and water for 90 seconds at 3 a.m. when it's not all going to be dissipated. No, we can do that. We can take the planter beds that are broken apart, add more bricks, mortar them in, and plant green stuff and keep it green. We can paint our buildings. We can replace the mailbox from 1948. When you reach into it, it's mangled and twisted. It's metal. It's too small. And when you reach in, it cuts your arm. Rusted out mailboxes. Even the postal workers didn't want to deliver mail because they were gouging up their hands and their arms. Yeah, you might have to spend a little bit of money, but damn it. Raise your standards. Power wash the carports and the driveways. Repave the cracked and broken driveways. Renovate the laundry rooms. Add gardens, add urban gardens all over the place. Create, innovate. You put these gardens in, you're giving all these residents, these 16 residents of these two buildings sharing this communal garden. Now everybody can go out and get grape, lime, lemon, orange from the tree for free. For free. You can go out to the garden and get some tomatoes, get some kale, get some rosemary, get some basil. tomatoes, strawberries, peppers, onions. Isn't this better than the shit you've allowed yourself to just settle on? Well, it's been this way for a while and it just is what it is. No, just because it is a certain way today does not mean it can't be better tomorrow. And I guess that is the guiding light, the philosophy of what I've done, whether it was trying to become a good football player and joining a team that went undefeated 2 years in a row. I did my part to push for excellence. Perfection is the only thing that we were aiming for. And regular season, we did. Played in a state championship, winning at halftime. We ended up losing that one. Went to the second round of the playoffs my senior year. I did my best. College, I saw that all of the schools around me were getting cool concerts. And I'm a musician. And I said, why can't we get cool concerts here? I want a cool concert. They're going to all the schools around within a 4-hour radius. Everybody gets cool concerts, but my school. So I went in and I was upset. I was angry. I said, hey, I saw an ad in the paper back when papers were a thing. And I went to the university activities organization and said, what are you doing? Who's planning the big concerts? Why does everybody get a big concert but us? Well, no, I don't want to hear why. Why? If they can do it, we can do it. Well, you got to understand, it didn't work before. Yeah, well, okay, that was then. I had the former president of our HOA say, well, Brian, we tried this before. We tried it 23 years ago, Terry. It doesn't mean we can't try it today. Let's learn the lesson from why it didn't work then. Let's try it again with maybe a better strategy. If it's better for the community, I want to do it. Put dog walking stations in so people would throw their trash out instead of just chucking it out the window. When you're on Section 8, it's like being in a college town. You're just a temporary renter. You have no skin in the game, no vested interest. Trash. And there have been times in my life where I've acted that way, like a bum, throwing trash here, there, and everywhere, being very disrespectful to neighbors and such. I've been a kid. I was an immature kid. I did things that I'll look back on the DVR of my life and go, not stuff like torturing a puppy or taking a human life or, like not these horrendous things. But, times you look back and go, I don't like that version of me doing that. So now I'm going to work to be the version that fixes some of that stuff. And it's a balance, a karmic balance, if you will. So anyway. Yeah, your community's in need of some pressure washing. I got some pressure washing to do. I've been working on the walkway, the driveway, blowing out the cracks, getting all the little foliage that's growing in there, and then putting sand down and putting caulk in those cracks, really trying to shore things up. That's what you got to do. And that's how society wins. You give, when people are participants in a society, they want you to win. They want to fight for big things. And you don't accept today's norm as the future standard. Raise the bar. And that's what I like what that Spencer Pratt's doing. Not a paid political ad, but he's a pissed off Californian like I was, who used the 311 app a whole ton. And it could be improved. Everything could be improved. It was actually a pretty decent app. But he wants to take it further. And you basically give grades and scores to the representatives who are either doing the job of the constituents to clean up their damn city or to not do it. And I like that. I like that energy. So, yeah, just do good things, Trash Panda, Texas. Just do good things. And good intentions are important, indeed. Good is God with one O missing. Dina Rainwater. Yeah, that was something I regret. That we never had gutters on the carports. Therefore, when the water ran off the flat roof, mostly flat roof, it would cascade down the fascia, stripping the paint and rotting the wood. So I said, let's add gutters. So we added gutters. Man, I'm pretty sure I told them how I wanted it to happen, but they did it the other way and I just left it. I'm like, we have 24 other buildings. We can't do it. But what it should have been was taking the water going this way instead of that way into the shared driveway and into a rain barrel that could be then used to pump in water on the drip irrigation system, the 200 potted plants for our community garden. But it's okay. That's one of those, I wish we could have done that the correct way. It's tough. It's tough volunteering when you have to work 40 hours a week and pay the bills. But yeah, I volunteered in that community. I jumped into the hood and I tried to make it better for everyone. Cleaner, safer, nicer, better. That's it, man. Some people have told me before, you don't know how to take a compliment. Just say thank you and move on. Instead, I do 12 minutes on, they call it a weave. They said, sir, you're kind of all over the place, and you could have handled it with just a thank you. But thank you, tip of the cap. Anyway, go out there and try to do some good this weekend especially. Share the show with a friend, Rumble Rant tip, Super Chat tip, and link up with us in all the platforms. Facebook was not working today. It eventually did, I think. But you got to get us on X at American_media_. You got to subscribe to the New American Media on Rumble. And like I said, Patreon is just a great site sitting there. It's been nothing but good for me so far, although I know I could get canceled there too, but whatever. At least I'm not just focusing on Facebook and YouTube like I did mistakenly for the first 10 of the 15 years that I did. I was on the other sites, but put way too much emphasis. I thought that the game wasn't as rigged as it was, but it's all right. We're learning more as it goes. Yeah, you mentioned rainwater, and it got me thinking about the rain barrels, and I got to repair a rain barrel or replace a rain barrel in my backyard right now. I tried flex tape, but it ain't working. Anyway, I digress, but I appreciate every one of you for being here. So, on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you. I love you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.